Every good story needs a guy or gal pointing at each other saying, I hate you, you hate me, we should be in an electric boogazoo rivalry. I'll be here all day. Wrestling is built on rivalries, and we could name all the classics like Stone Cold vs. The Rock, Stone Cold vs. Mr. McMahon, Stone Cold vs. Eric Bischoff, and Stone Cold vs. Will Sasso. While there have been many rivalries that stick out in the WWE, there are also ones that slip through the cracks and may not get as much love as they should. So we thought, hey, let's make a list so that you can revisit these not-so-hidden gems. I won't be giving away the results just in case you want to binge-watch these in real time and hopefully can relive some classic underrated moments. I'm Mike from the Wrestling Society Network, and these are 10 underrated WWE rivalries to rewatch. Before we begin, you know what to do, you know where to go. Download the app or Mr. Owens will steal your belt buckles, and you don't want that. Number 10, Johnny Gargano vs. Tommaso Ciampa. The modern-day DX implosion. Don't tell R-Truth, these people aren't the same. DIY helped rejuvenate the wrestling tag division during the NXT Gold period. Then Tommaso got jealous that Johnny had more hair than him. It all starts all the way back in the Cruiserweight Classic and spans to take over Brooklyn 4 2 years later in an absurd last man standing match. The two would brush tips, yet you heard me time and time, before finally reuniting on the main roster and doing hilarious skits of Ciampa trying to RKO Randy Orton out of nowhere, but their span of NXT rivalries was the cherry on top of the hot fudge sundae. Now I'm hungry. Number 9, Undertaker vs. DX. Now, hold on, I know what you're thinking. Mike, this is one of the most legendary feuds in recent memory. What do you mean it's a hidden gem? I don't know if you know what that phrase actually means, and I want to tell you, shut up. Let's take this mayhem train back to 1997 when Undertaker first met the sexy boy in Hell in a Cell, and then Mean Mark from Clark's burnt sibling showed up for the first time, which, poetically, he was kind of there for the finale, but we don't talk about that now, do we? Regardless, Taker and DX have had many encounters from the Attitude Era all the way up to the end of an era, and certainly you will not be disappointed reliving this chaotic last ride. That's a morbid vroom vroom reference. Number 8, Bret Hart vs. Owen Hart. In the mid-1990s, the bond between brothers Bret and Owen Hart unraveled into one of wrestling's most personal feuds. What began as sibling rivalry grew into a deeply emotional battle, as Owen sought to step out of his brother's shadow and prove himself as an equal. Their story was built on pride, jealousy, and the desire for respect, with family loyalty consistently clashing with personal ambition. Fans were drawn into the drama as the Hart family found themselves divided, each interaction between Bret and Owen adding more layers to the tension. The feud showcased technical wrestling brilliance and storytelling ability, as shown in the possibly the greatest WrestleMania opening match of all time. Bret and Owen's rivalry remains one of the most memorable family-driven storylines in WWE history and is sure worth a rewatch. Number 7, Trish Stratus vs. Lita. To many, this may seem like an obvious choice of a classic feud, but women's wrestling back then is not what it is today, and I feel the series of bouts gets overlooked. Throughout the early 2000s, Lita and Trish clashed time and time again, showing off their incredible in-ring abilities and chemistry with each other back when all the king could talk about is puppies. Lita and Trish were out there showing that women could be every bit as good as the men. The pair's on-again, off-again friendship fueled their bitter rivalry, one that culminated with Trish's retirement match for the Women's Championship at Unforgiven 2006. Number 6, CM Punk vs. Jeff Hardy. WWE really tried the CM Punk experiment, so much so they said, here's 2 Money in the Banks back to back. While the first one didn't go quite as planned, the second one set up this fantastic feud. At Extreme Rules 2009, the Cook Magnet P-Man cashed in on young Jeffrey Nero and became World Heavyweight Champion. And so began some of Punk's best character work in the business, and not to mention Jeff Hardy's as well. Jeff was always the one-dimensional character and tag team specialist. This rivalry not only brought out a darker side, no, not you, Willow, stay in the corner. The feud itself lasted quite some time, carrying through the Bash to Night of Champions and being rewarded with a main event spot at SummerSlam of that year, ultimately concluding in the steel cage match on SmackDown, where the loser would have to leave WWE. Number 5, Kofi Kingston vs. Daniel Bryan. In 2019, Kofi Kingston went from reliable tag team guy to the heart and soul of WWE almost overnight. Sounds like a familiar story, eh? Daniel Bryan, once the ultimate underdog, had become the ultimate eco-friendly snob, parading around his planet's championship, which I secretly love, and trashing the fans' dreams along the way with former sheepman Eric Rowan. Enter Kofi Mania, a movement fueled by pancakes, positivity, and pure determination. Bryan, now a grumpy environmentalist with a hemp championship belt, again friggin' awesome, tried to keep Kofi from reaching the top, but the fans refused to let it die. Every obstacle thrown at Kofi only made the crowd louder. Their feud was about more than titles. It was about versatility, opportunity, and providing hard work that matters. If you love emotional payoffs, ridiculous heel work, and underdog stories, this is an absolute must-watch feud. Number 4, Edge and Christian versus the Hardy Boys versus the Dudley Boys. To think this rivalry started with something called the Terry Invitational Tournament because tit. Edge and Christian and the Hardys would start off the feud, bringing ladders to the forefront of everyone's mind during the Attitude Era. Then the Dudleys would slip in and say, here's some tables. Oh, and we found these chairs also. Both WrestleMania 2000 and WrestleMania 17's TLC matches are etched into eternal fandom, and the three teams facing off for the WWE Tag Team titles in a pair of legendary matches that elevated the entire division to a whole new level would cement the six men to legendary status. Number 3, Charlotte Flair versus Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch versus Bayley. Known as the Four Horsewomen, there certainly was no horsing around with these ladies. You couldn't trot on them. They would not neigh down for, oh dear God, please make me stop. When Raw and SmackDown were rebooted in 2016, Sasha and Charlotte became two of Raw's top stars, while Becky and Bayley would respectively find themselves later down the road as both the man and the hating Michael Cole person. That stupid idiot. Interchange these ladies any way you want with any opponent, whether that was Charlotte versus Sasha, Becky versus Charlotte, oh hi Rhonda, how did you get in there? Or Sasha and Bayley. You knew it was going to be one of the best matches on the card. The combination of these rivalries is untouchable. These matches weren't just for the sake of promoting the women's division. They all had amazing chemistry that spearheaded a real women's wrestling revolution. Number 2, Chris Jericho versus Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho clashed first in 2003, with Jericho basically cosplaying as the Heartbreak Kid, trying to prove he could outshine his idol, resulting in an outstanding WrestleMania 19 bout. Fast forward to 2008, and things got way more personal. Jericho, now rocking a bittersweet tie phase, accused Michaels of being a liar and a hypocrite, and then punched Shawn's wife right in the face at a WWE event. Totally an accident, kind of, sort of. This wasn't just about wrestling anymore. It became about pride, legacy, and eye injuries that wouldn't just heal. Their battles turned brutally real, delivering savage promos and epic matches. Michaels and Jericho told one of the most layered, emotionally charged stories WWE has ever pulled off. If you like drama, grudges, and top-tier storytelling, this is a rivalry worth binge-watching immediately. And number 1, Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar. My personal favorite entry on this list, you could include Big Show in this as well, but the main focus was who was the better amateur turned professional between Angle and Brock. Smash. Let's rewind to 2003 Survivor Series, where Paul Heyman screwed the world's largest farmer and helped Big Show win the title. Kurt then said, hey Brock, we're friends now, I'll help you. Oh no, just kidding, I want this shiny toy for myself. What would ensue from there would be multiple heel turns, a WrestleMania main event, a triple threat with a badass video package of Vengeance 2003. It rocked so hard. Here's the Brooklyn Brawler. Finally, their rivalry culminates on the September 16th, 2003 episode of SmackDown with what, in my opinion, is the greatest 60-minute Iron Man match of all time. Angle and Lesnar is not the most story-driven rivalry, but certainly brought the sports out of sports entertainment and is a must-watch rivalry that you need to revisit now. And that's our list. Leave a comment down below on what your favorite underrated rivalries were, and don't forget to download the WSN app, available on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, and Apple TV today. We'll see you next time. Happy